Hey guys, good evening. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Let me just put this on the screen here. Please, guys, as you are coming into the room, please comment and let me know where you are watching from. Hey, Andrew, I see you there. Is that Lee? Lehigh? I can't tell what that is. Lehigh? Hello, guys. As you come in, please just go ahead and drop in the comments where you're watching from, what city and state you're watching from, and whether you are an MA, are you in school, are you a medical assistant instructor? I would like to know where you are on your journey. I see you guys are hopping in here. So we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. So tonight, first of all, let me just introduce myself for those of you that who may be watching this and don't know me. My name is Kendra, aka Miss K. I'm a medical assistant instructor. I'm from DC. I've been a medical assistant for about 20 years. This year will make 20 years. And I'm a teacher now. I'm also an author. I have a couple businesses, including CPR and first aid. And also now I'm a YouTuber. I consider that a business as well. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. I have a special guest joining me tonight. And let me just tell you guys this. If you're on here and you are in my Facebook group or you're following me on Facebook and you're wondering what's going on with my page, I don't know, something happened with Facebook. I got a notification last night that my page was suspended. And so I appealed it. I've been waiting, guys. So I am just, I just got to wait. And so one thing I want to do while I'm on here tonight, I'm going to drop the link for you guys to join my email list. If you're already following me on Facebook and you want to just join my email list so I can still get in contact with you when things like this happen. As a matter of fact, I think I have that link. Let me go ahead and drop that link now. So you guys can just go ahead and start joining my email list. So that way, when stuff like this happens, I can still get in contact with you guys. Like I was able to send out a reminder about tonight's live to the people that are on my email. But if you just follow me on Facebook, you're kind of out the loop. Okay. So I'm putting a link there. Just go ahead and join my email list. Okay. I see Plymouth, Wisconsin. Okay. Florida. Okay. Charleston, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Okay, guys. All right. So let me look at my notes, guys. I had to make some notes because I don't want to leave anything out today. All right, let me see. So I shared that with you guys, my email list. One thing too, I want to let you guys know, if you want to support this channel at all, you can do so by super chat here, or you can also give to my Cash App as well. I'll put that up on the screen later. Oh, Jazz said I just started my MA program 3 weeks ago. Perfect. All righty. So let's go ahead and get this guest introduced. So this is Miss Misty Myers. I'm going to bring her on in just a moment, and I'm going to have her introduce herself. But she is a medical assistant instructor, and not only that, she has her own school. So I had to get her on this channel. She has her own medical assistant school. So we're going to go ahead and bring her up here. Hi, Misty. Let's go ahead and give Misty a hand, guys.
Hey, everyone. I see everyone. Oof, from all over. I hope those in Florida are being safe with that flooding. Have you seen it?
Oh, yes. I hope you guys are okay down there. So what part of Florida is that in, Misty?
I think it's at southern Florida.
Oh, wow.
Anything really by the coast, it's underwater.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Misty, thank you so much for coming on today. It's a pleasure, having you here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and then we'll get into it.
Hey, everyone. I know some of you guys watch me on TikTok. I see she likes Facebook. I like TikTok. She's I got TikTok down. So my name is Misty Myers. I've been an MA for a little over 20 years now. Wow.
No, right?
I say that number out loud. It starts to age me a little bit. And things have obviously changed in the industry over 20 years. I did clinical. Pediatrics is my specialty. Pediatrics is my home. Everybody's got their favorites, and I will always be a peds MA.
Yes.
And during my lifetime in pediatrics and working in as a clinical medical assistant on the floor, I actually had some providers that would call me after I no longer worked with them, and they're like, "Hey, you think you can come and train some people? I know you don't work here anymore, but And I would go and do that. That's what I would do. I would go to other facilities and I would train their staff, and then essentially become an instructor myself. And then I eventually went through the whole long drawn out process and I opened up my own training center. So now I am training the MAs. I get all of my MAs employed right after my classes. So that's the amazing part. You know how hard it is sometimes, guys. After you come out of school, you got to wait months to find a job. I made sure
Mhm.
that I had that lined up immediately. But
Yeah.
we succeed outside of being just clinical and being, I always do that just MA, because we always, oh, that she's just the MA. We make it.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, that you help people find a job, because that's one of the things that I noticed about you when I started following you, is that you have a 100% pass rate. Your students are passing certification. Your students are getting jobs. So she's going to share her information for her school a little bit later, guys. But if you happen to be watching this here live, or whether you're watching a replay, and you are not yet in school for medical assistant, and you're maybe and also especially if you're in the DC area, but I think you're doing something virtually soon too, right?
Yeah, we're going to do
So
classes.
okay, so if you guys are looking for a school, definitely when she drops her information tonight, definitely check into it, because she's getting her medical assistance jobs as well as passing certification. And yeah, you're right. That just MA, I don't like that. And I think that for some people it turns, some aspiring medical assistants, I've noticed that it kind of discourages them.
That,
I've seen it in the group. I don't know if you've seen it in the group. For those of you that's watching, and if you're not on in my Facebook group, it's called the Medical Assistant Lounge. But I've saw people in there just like, is it worth it? I'm hearing all of these things. But listen, guys, we are literally, and I know everybody says this about their profession, but in the medical office, we are literally the heart of the medical office. We are working alongside the provider, making their job easier. We're running a front desk. We're doing so many different things. And
yes.
the office literally can't run without us. So, hey, edify your sister. That's my sister there, guys.
And nursing is not for everyone. And I tell everybody who comes to me and says, "Oh, well, I want to be a nurse. What do you think I should do?" I say, "You
Mm-hmm.
either need to become a CNA or MA first. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you want to do this. Don't, I don't want to discourage anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Social media has made this an aesthetic, and it's not an aesthetic field. Like, we really work. We work hard. Those Stanleys that we carry in there, they're usually sitting there at the same time when we leave, just as full as when we walked in. This isn't social media, and as nice as it is on some side where it makes it look like, hey, I want to go and do this, it also puts this false narrative out there too. And it does it. We don't just sit at the desk. We don't get to just crack jokes with the doctor. Sometimes we don't get to sit down all day, and that's the honest part of this job, especially in pediatrics. And I have a very heartening, if any of my students are on here, they'll tell you, we our very first class, we have a very serious talk about what to expect and real expectations of what it is when you're coming into this, what the
Right.
real pay rates really are, not what
Yeah.
social media are putting out there to try to convince people otherwise. But I
Yeah.
highly recommend, if anybody decides they want to go into nursing, that they should definitely, definitely, definitely become an MA or a CNA first. Make sure that you love this.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. That's one of the things that I tell my students too. You have to love this, and you have to love people. I have heard students admit, I don't like people. Why are you here? You cannot be in this profession if you do not like people. You have to have a love for people. You have to have a love for healthcare. And you know what, Misty, just to keep it real, you know how you said some people, they feel like, you don't do much as an MA. I remember when I was a teenager, and I remember the medical assistant bringing me back. I honestly thought that was all they did. I remember, oh, I can probably do this, because they bring you back, check your blood pressure. Maybe if you need an injection, they do that. It did seem like, oh, that's it. But you really are, it's work, and you got
We're
to
the
love.
backbone, baby. We are the backbone. I don't care what anybody says.
Listen, we are. And Misty, I want to get in your business a little bit, and I want to know about, what made you even get into healthcare, from the beginning. Like, did you know as a child that you were going to get in healthcare?
No. So I have one of those boohoo stories, those boohoo life stories of, I grew up in foster care. I bounced around. I was
Okay.
homeless. I
Okay.
fell through the cracks in the Baltimore social service foster care system. I was just one of those kids that was just gone. They didn't care. Um, and then I became a teen mom, and I have 8 kids. I do. I have a lot of kids. Some people think I'm crazy because I still did pediatrics after having all these kids. But listen, you got to have a love for peds to do this.
Same.
But you know, I thought I really wanted to go to be a nurse. I wanted to be a pediatric nurse, and I really did. And then one of the easier routes with somebody who was young with multiple children was to become a medical assistant first. And then while I was in there, and this is not to discourage anyone, I did notice that what the nurses did on the floor was something I didn't want to do. Like in my offices and everywhere that I worked, the nurses were paper pushers. They just did care plans. They didn't really do any hands-on, and that's clinical, and that's in the clinical setting. This isn't a hospital setting, but
Okay.
they didn't do much. And I felt like they didn't have any personable skills with the patients and anything like that. So I was like, no, that ain't what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just sit at a desk. I can't just sit at a desk all day. I got ADHD, y'all. I was sitting there like fidgeting after a couple of minutes. But once I realized like this was something that I really loved doing, and I did it very well. We all got those days. Listen, you're going to have days when you hate what you do, no matter what it is that you do. There's going to be days that you're just overwhelmed with life, and life carries on into your work. You're going to have traumatic situations with some of your patients. And when you work in a clinical setting, you got the same patients on a regular basis. You see your same people, and you develop bonds with these people. You develop relationships. And when something happens in some of their lives, we can take that personal too. So I dealt with that. But
Mm-hmm.
on top of being the medical assistant, I was part-time a medical interpreter. So I would go to hospitals and clinics and facilities and interpret for the Spanish speaking, community. So
Mm-hmm.
being that I was a medical assistant, it gave me so much knowledge already on how to do the medical interpreting side. Those two things hand in hand. I'm gonna just let you know, if you are somebody who is bilingual, I highly suggest that you take that into consideration. You become a certified interpreter.
Mm-hmm.
But when I decided to like step back out of the actual healthcare field and become my own boss, like it was really hard because I had for so many years, you have this routine, you do the same thing every single day. It's really hard. And then especially the unknowing. Oh my God, I'm going to start my own business.
Right.
Am I crazy? Am I going to be able to pay my mortgage this month? Oh my God. I didn't really think a lot of things through. And when I, again, with the ADHD and the bipolar disorder, I tend to do everything. I jump in full throttle without putting a lot of thought into some things. Um, but what had happened was I went and I seen one of the providers that I worked with for many, 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 many years. And she sat with me, and we had a very heart conversation one day. And she's like, listen, I don't know what's happening with the schooling or anything like that these days, but these MAs are coming out and they don't know anything.
Yep.
They don't know vital signs. They can't do manual blood pressure at all.
Mm-hmm.
They are scared to give vaccines. They're just not able. They don't have any communication skills. They don't know how to speak to the patients.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I wish you would just come back and just train people, and I was like, yeah, I don't think so. And I don't think a lot of people would handle that very well. And going through the steps, and it got into the back of my head. You know how you get that voice back there like, can I make a business out of this?
Right.
And that's what I did initially. I initially did that. I got with some providers. I would offer my training as an incumbent worker training.
Okay.
And incumbent worker training is, if for those who don't know, it's basically where your employer brings in someone else from the outside to do more training with you. And what that does, it alleviates that, any MAs that are active MAs on here, current MAs, understand that when new people get hired, we got to train them. Our workload doubles. We got to do our job, plus we're training on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was sitting there and I was talking with these providers, they was like, no, we just our MOs can't handle the amount of training that we have to do because of the constant turnover. Let's
Mm-hmm.
can work out to where you come in and train our staff, and then we go like that. So doing that, another one of the doctors at a large hospital that I was training at, he sat with me. He's like, maybe you should open your own school. I was like, I don't have your pockets. This is not. You know, it's not as easy. It's not as easy or as cheap as a lot of people make it seem. This,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It is really a lot that goes into your curriculum. It's a lot that goes into marketing. It's a lot in general. Anything in when you own your own business is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But especially when you have this whole thing of somebody's livelihood,
Yeah.
how they're paid, that would sit in the back of my head. So
Yeah.
before I started my program, I was reaching out to providers. I was like,
Oh, okay.
listen, if I'm going to do this, will you give them a chance at employment? Bring them in to do the interviews.
Okay.
Because I could train them all day long. It's not going to do any good as if they got to sit home for 6 months or 8 months or a year looking for a job.
Right. Right.
So that's a little bit about how it started, and I got those partnerships with the facilities. And I just had this past week FQHC is federally qualified health centers.
Okay.
These are the ones that are run by the medical assistants, stuff like that. They're throughout the cities and states. I had one of the providers who runs pretty much every FQHC in Maryland, DC, and parts of Virginia reach out to me to send all of my students to her because she's going to find them employment.
Wow. 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 And that was so smart to reach out to the providers. I've never heard that before, to make sure you had this in place. And that shows your heart. That shows that you really want people to get jobs, because I know of people who just have programs just from, going to get a certification. And then I have my own school. I'll
Yeah.
give you, get you certified in a couple of days and put you out here. But those type of people are just there to take your money. And just to kind of stop right there just for 1 second. If anybody is watching this and you are thinking about medical assistant, I did have someone comment, it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, and asked about a 2-day class. Absolutely not. I know people do it and I see people offer those classes, but programs like that is watering down our profession. One thing too, I want to go back to something you said, Misty, because you mentioned that you had ADHD and you mentioned bipolar. And the reason why I wanted to stop there is because I had people reaching out to me. I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of comments. And I've had a couple people say that I don't think I can do this because of my ADHD or even bipolar. And it was something else somebody mentioned, but we're sitting here today, like, you are not just an instructor, like, you have your whole school, you have your own school. So I
Yes.
wanted to just kind of just congratulate you on that, and even just give encouragement to people who maybe are dealing with things that we don't see, because I don't see that. I would know that if you didn't tell me, so, you know, I just wanted to give some encouragement to anybody who have some type of struggles, who came from,
Yes.
like similar backgrounds like you. You were in foster care, and I recently did a video about a couple weeks ago, and I named it "The Truth of Who I Am," like the truth about who I am, and I named it that because I was very transparent in that video about my background, because I had never shared any of that on this channel. And people, they see Miss K as the instructor helping me pass certification and all of that. But I wanted those type of people that reach out to me that think that they can't do it because of their background, whether it's mental health, or whether it's because I used to be this or I used to do that. I wanted them to know that, listen, this is where I come from, this is what I've done, and if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yep.
And so I think the transparency is so important.
Yep. We are our biggest enemies.
Yeah.
We are our biggest haters. I hate to tell you this. Most of the things that you say you can't do, you just won't do. It ain't that you can't. The
Yeah.
one thing, and this might make a couple people upset, but you got to stop using your past or anything that is your diagnosis as a reason as to why you cannot. If Elon Musk, who has Asperger's, can become the richest man in the world, come on, like he can't even talk to people. No, seriously,
Yeah.
it's the crippling anxiety that we have, especially when it comes to, oh my God, what are people going to say? Like me, people that I work with, they're like, who does she think she is opening up her own school? Who does she
Wow.
think she is just working with us? You know what? I make more than the doctors that you work with.
Okay.
You want
Okay.
to let's do you really want to go there?
Right.
Let's you know, you want me to help you? I'll show you what to do. One thing about me is I'm all about educating. My kids hate it because as soon as somebody and one of their friends come over and they start a little conversation about something they want to do in their life, ooh, I feel like they're calling me. And I start talking and they're like, oh my God, you got her start. I When you know that you can give some people some information, I wish somebody would have said to me when I was literally running the streets of Baltimore thinking what I was thinking back then, when I was just
Right.
this teenager who didn't give a shit, you know, excuse my language, about everything. I just did what I wanted to do. There was no guidance. There was nobody to try to say, hey, what is it you want to do? How do you want to do it? Let me show you the right way. Nobody wants that. And today, to ask somebody a question, they say, okay, here's my PayPal, here's my invoice, here's my this,
Right. Right.
here's my
Right.
Cash App. You want me to tell you how to do this? I paid, and I'm gonna tell you guys the honest to God's truth. I paid probably $25,000 for mentors who gave me no
Wow.
help at all.
Wow. Wow. I remember you posted something. I think you were at one and you were like, you paid, I think it was like 10,000 at that particular one. And it was like nothing going on.
Yes, I have had people be like, "Oh, I can help you with this. I can get you to this level. I can show you how to do this," because this is a huge process, guys.
Yeah.
You will see a lot of people on social media say, especially on Instagram, oh, I can train you to become a medical assistant instructor and open your own school. It's only $2,500. They
Right.
inform you. They don't inform you that most of the certifications they give you are trash. They're not even worth the paper to print it on. They're not
Mhm.
recognized anywhere. And that it's going to cost you at anywhere from $10,000 to $75,000 to get that business up and running.
Mm.
They lie and they
Yeah.
withhold information, especially if it's somebody that's within your community in the area in which you live, because they don't want competition.
That is so true.
So you definitely have to look out for some. If you do find a mentor or a coach, for those of you who have been a medical assistant for many years, and you think, I really like to teach people. I really want to show people how to do this. Like I actually like training newbies when they come in, new hires.
Mhm.
I want to be that person that goes around and does that. When you get to that level and you think about it, you definitely need a coach. You need a coach, you need a mentor. I'm not going to tell you not to get one.
Right.
However, try to look outside of where you live.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And let me ask you this: what do you think? Well, not what do you think? What do you know? What was one of the biggest challenges for you when it came to opening your own school?
The lack of information that is out there,
Okay.
and not just that. There's literally a training center on every corner right now. If you go through your Instagram right now or your Facebook and you look up medical assistant class, you're going to see hundreds of them. They got them again, the 1 day class, the 2 day classes. They don't, all of their students end up coming to me afterwards because they can't get jobs because they still have no skills after they done paid somebody for that 1 day class, which is
Right.
bad.
Right.
So when you go out here, and I'm gonna tell you, it really ain't about the length of the time of the class. It is the instructor. It
Mm-hmm.
is the instructor. It is how they care about you, how they teach you, how much they care about what it is that you know and that you understand. Because the thing with me, my students will tell you, I say 55,000 times in one class, do you understand what we just went over before I go to the next subject? Do you
Mm-hmm.
understand? And I do. I'm going to pull you up randomly. I want to see you do a manual blood pressure, and I got my double stethoscope because you're not lying.
Mm-hmm.
You got diaphragm all the way over here on this side somewhere. Be like, oh, it was no, And I go over the importance of understand, especially with vital signs. Like I need
Yes.
to understand this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a lot. I don't try to downplay the big schools either. I want
Mm-hmm.
you guys to understand. I'm not a fan of the 9 month to a year program. I'm just being honest with you. I feel like it's a scam in the way that it costs entirely too much money. They go over a lot of stuff that is literally not even within the scope of the practice, because of the
Yeah.
fact that in order for these facilities to be able to get the amount of student loans that they get, they have to have a lot of filler and fluff. I don't do the filler and fluff. I don't
Yeah.
have the patience for it. I really don't. So if
Yeah.
I go into a class, and I knew this when I started out, if I'm going to go into a class or start a class, and I realize as I'm starting to teach something, I'm about to fall asleep myself, my students aren't going to retain or learn anything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
true. It's like grade school. It's like you kind of look back and you realize, okay, I never you what's some of that stuff we learned in school, like we just never use any of it. And I get
90% of it.
and I'm with you on that. And I definitely want to say I agree with you. Like the length is not necessarily a thing, it's what you're getting. And listen, guys, vital signs, that is, listen, for those of you that think you don't have to learn manual blood pressure, and let me just hold on, let me shout out one of my students on here, my O's. I gotta shout her out real quick. Hi Taja, I miss you, Taja. Hold on, where'd she go? Where her comment go? She's under Jocelyn right here. Hey Taja. But they know that those vital signs, and she probably, if she's still on here, she know I probably got on her nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I get on her nerves because you have to know how to check blood pressure. And people think, oh, we have a monitor, we have an automated monitor, I don't need to learn how to check it. Guess what? If that pressure is too low or too high, you have to double check it anyway. And then some providers, they don't even want you to use an automated cuff at all.
No.
Especially in P's, they want you to check that manual blood pressure. So you have to know how to check manual blood pressure. Ain't that right, Taja? She said, hey.
Last three facilities that I had, that I was contracted, the last three facilities I've been contracted on, where I went and did the incumbent worker training, did not have automated machines on anything, not even for their CLIA wave testing. Everything was manual. So your urine dips, your flu, your COVID, your RSV, it was the old school ways. Like they had everything. Blood pressure cuffs was all over the place. I mean, I didn't like the fact that they didn't have a great selection of sizes, because I need y'all to understand the size of your blood pressure cuff matters a lot, and people don't understand that. But it's so crazy now, because my students text me when they get their jobs, and they're like, oh my gosh, I just watched the MA who did a 1-year program, and they don't even know how to do this. And they put the pulse ox on the same hand as the blood pressure cuff when they was doing, like, and they would just send me all these messages. And I'm like, I'm glad that you've realized and you recognize these errors. Like it makes me feel like you actually paid attention to what I taught. And I do have students. I have people who go to the 1-year program and then still come to me after they are already $20,000-$30,000 in student loan debt.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I get people emailing me and like, I took this program, I don't know, like, and they were kind of on their own, especially the online that's a whole nother thing, the online only programs with no hands-on training. I mean, these people, they're just they're left out in the cold, literally. Yep. Like, I have so many people in my email right now who just trying to figure it out. Like, I didn't get anything. And I can even respect it if the school is like, listen, we're going to send you some material and you can watch a video and do it along with the video. I'm okay with that. But when you just get nothing and they're left out in the cold, and these people, they paid all this money, like, I just cannot with that. And guys, I see y'all are leaving questions in the comments. We're going to get to it in a few moments. I got a couple more questions for you too, Misty. I wanted to know, because there may be somebody watching this who is well, actually, it's a two-part question for those people who are kind of thinking about becoming a medical assistant, and they're kind of discouraged about it, because like I said, and like I see people that have asked in a group, like, is it worth it? Should I do it? Like, I'm hearing so many different things. Like, what would you say to that person that want to become a medical assistant, but is kind of discouraged because of people around them saying certain things, or even things that they see online?
This isn't social media. I said this before. Social media is fake. It's fake. Everything about social media is fake. Everything that you see that they do, they either make things look glamorous and amazing, or they make it look like hell. Mm-hmm. I recommend highly that if you have a desire for healthcare, first of all, if you feel like, oh, I'm not going to do it, I can't do it, then don't do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. If somebody has to sit down to convince you wholeheartedly over and over and over, then this
Yeah.
really, somebody who has that love for healthcare, they have it. You have it.
Mhm.
If you don't have it, you don't have it, and nobody can force you to have it. And don't try to get into the field thinking about money, because then you're going to be unhappy. It's a lot. If you honestly are sitting there like, I really want to do this, but I'm scared because, hey, I have ADHD. Hey, I'm scared because I'm bipolar. Hey, I'm scared because I got all these kids, or I'm a single mother, I'm a single father, I'm a this and that. I can't deal with burgers. I'll be honest with you. I can't flip burgers. I don't have the patience for those type of people. I don't have the patience for people and drive through the customer service thing. I don't. Yes, we get some patience. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm. Yep.
We get some patience that sometimes you have to walk out.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you look at this, you're changing somebody's life.
Yeah.
I tell all of my students, when you look at this, we know our patients sometimes better than the providers.
Mhm.
I know what's going to be wrong with my patient before the doctor knows what's wrong with that patient most of the time, because I see this patient, I speak to this patient on a different level than what the doctor usually does. They're more comfortable speaking with me. I can tell that man that always flirts every time he comes in, his little old self, he always got something fresh to
Yep.
say.
It's always one, at least one, right?
He's one. I know that he's never been disrespectful, but this time he comes in there and something just isn't right. I know I'm the one that can go and say something, and I could potentially save his life.
Mhm.
When it comes to, and that's why your vital signs, please know your vital signs. If you don't know anything else, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of things you
Yes.
can wing it. There's a lot of things you
Yes.
can wing. You cannot wing vital signs. There's a reason why it's called vital signs. Okay. And I take that, I get a little oof when it comes to it, because
Mhm. Rightfully so.
and this isn't just MAs. I've watched nurses document wrong vital signs and do vital signs.
Mhm.
I've seen doctors put the wrong stuff in a chart. I've seen doctors do
Mhm.
vital signs, and I'm the type, I'm gonna pull you up. Oh, what? I just saw you do a manual blood pressure, but you just put down an odd number. There's no odd numbers on a
Exactly.
manual. You know, I'm that type of person to pull these things up. But some people, and I hope that if you do decide to come into this and you like, look, I really want to do this, that you become the type of person who cares. And it's not about snitching. I want you to understand, this is
Yeah.
somebody's life. This is the life of somebody. It's literally in your hand. So pay attention to everything. Come into it just with an open mind, just like you do with anything and everything else. Because again, if you have a love for healthcare, you will have a love for healthcare.
Yes.
You can't do this if you don't. You can't do this if you're just looking just to get a job. I'm gonna be. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, I'm so glad you said that. If it's not there, that's the key thing you said. If it's not there, it's not there. Don't force it. If you have somebody that's just trying to make you do it, and you know what? I don't know if you see this. I do see this a lot where I have students whose parents are making them go. And I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes they make, because especially at my former school, because my former school, those students paid, I think, between 18,000 to 20,000 to go there. At least now my school, it's a workforce development. My students go for free. But I mean, these students were forced into loans, okay? And then
Yep.
now they have to pay these loans back, because
Yep.
once you're in the program, once you get past like
That's
that
it.
first module, you got to pay those loans back. And so, I agree. If you don't have a heart for it, if it's not there, it's not there.
Yep. And
Um,
I actually had to turn. I had a mother call about her daughter. She wanted to enroll her daughter who was graduating. I think it was last year. She was graduating. And she was like, I want to get some information, blah, blah, going on talking about it. And I was like, well, are you going to be the student? She's like, no, my daughter is. I said, okay, but I need to speak to your daughter. I speak to each and every one of my students personally.
mhm.
We got to get on the phone. I need to know. I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me. And I know that.
Right, right.
So, you know, I'm very Baltimore. I can't, I know some of y'all like, she's from, I'm very Baltimore.
Listen, we neighbors. I'm DC, Baltimore. Listen, I'm right there with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I get on with her daughter and we're talking. And when I tell you, her daughter was like, I don't want to work in healthcare. I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to do injections. I don't want to be around sick people. I don't like it. And I was like, okay. I ended up, so what is it that you want to do? What is it that you're looking to do? Me thinking of her like my child, I started having all these conversations. And she wanted to go into IT. Like she was really a computer person. And
Wow.
after having this conversation, I got back on with her mother, and her mother's like, okay, so where do I send, the payment? And I said, I'm sorry. I unfortunately, this isn't the right program for her. And I really think you should listen to your daughter. And I was like, and I'm gonna be honest, IT, she's gonna make a lot more money.
Okay.
But
That's a
a
good
lot
point.
of, especially, and mothers tend to look at this, the healthcare, the scrubs, this is what a woman is supposed to do type of thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not. It's
Yeah,
not
and,
for
and they
everybody.
don't do well. They don't do well when they come in the program. They end up failing out, and then now they paying loans for a career they're not even in. Like
Mhm.
it's just it's sad. One other thing I wanted to ask you too about becoming a medical assistant. I don't want to. How much time you got? I don't want to ask you too much. I just want to pick your brain a little bit while you're here. But I wanted to ask you about let me see, because I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna have to bring you on for a part two because there's so much I want to get into. Listen, y'all, I'm so glad I got Misty on. So I see a lot of you guys commented that you follow both of us. Misty is on TikTok and I'm on mostly on YouTube. I'm on Facebook as well, but mostly on YouTube. And so a
Froze,
lot of our followers and
froze for a
subscribers
second.
say that again.
You froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Hear you.
Okay, a lot of our followers and subscribers are mutual, so there I see a lot of you guys, and so this is overdue. So we'll probably end up having to do a part two. But I wanted to know, so if somebody's watching this now, a medical assistant, and she's like, okay, well she or he, because I see coaches on here, Breon, that's coach. He's one of the admins in my group. Hey, coach. He's saying that
Hey.
school that I mentioned that was 18 to 20, he said it's 22 now. We were teachers together. We were co-teachers together. It's 22K now. Wow.
I have a lady on my TikTok. She's right now, her school is $37,000.
Yeah, see, no, that is just ridiculous. No.
That's a nursing. That's nursing. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not. Yes, yeah, no. But yeah, so what was oh yeah, so a medical I almost forgot what I was gonna say. So a medical assistant, they have some experience. They're thinking that they want to go the route that you went, they want to become a medical assistant instructor, possibly open their own school one day. Like what advice would you have for that person?
Be prepared to spend a lot of money. No, I'm joking. No, there is. It's a like I was telling you before. There is a lot of competition now with these one day, 2 day people traveling and doing a 1 day class, and you got a lot of that happening now. You gotta not be discouraged and know how to stand out from the crowd. I know y'all gonna be like, she's crazy. My class is only $1,500. It's 4 to 6 weeks, and it's only $1,500. And
Listen.
they actually are on a job immediately after they finish my class. So it's not like you're going to get a lot of hate no matter what, especially, and it's going to come from the people that you worked with the most. The people that you worked with who are still sitting in the office as MAs and working beside a doctor, they're going to be upset, and they're going to have this perception of what made you think that you can open a school? What makes you think this, my bank account made me think it. I got tired of being hungry. No, so there's so many benefits to this, because here's where my heart is. And I have like an instructor group. One of the things is being able to offer training for free to people who never had the opportunity. Every single month in my class, I have somebody that I train absolutely free of charge. Everything, I make sure I have somebody who doesn't have to pay, and I make sure they have a job afterwards. When you're going through the steps of this, though, you're going to get imposter syndrome a lot. And I don't know if a lot of people don't understand what imposter syndrome is. I would highly recommend when you get off of here, you look it up and you get an idea of it, because would you guys ever settle over paint? What?
I don't know what that is.
With imposter syndrome, you will definitely get this in your head. Like once you start going through the process of all of this, and you realize like you really, really, really have a lot of people watching you. a lot of people watching you and watching for you to fail at it. That's very honest. And it's usually
Yeah.
your own community of people that you've worked with. Go out there. You got to stop caring about what anybody and everybody thinks. You make sure you go through your Department of Education and you find out the criteria, what it is that you have to do to be approved through them. Don't just open up a training center.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just a lot there. 90% of the training centers or somebody just went and paid for a certification and they just opened it up. It doesn't work like that. It does
Mm-hmm.
not work like that. There are channels and there are ways. But when I tell you, if I can do this, I was a high school dropout. I had to go back and get a GED with 2 kids on the bus. I still have a whole bunch more kids on top of that. And if I can do this with 8 kids, one of my children is extreme special needs. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody. Again, I have ADHD. I have severe bipolar disorder, severe, and I'm unmedicated. My business is my medication. I know that that might sound crazy for some people. My business is my medication.
Wow.
And I actually went to my doctor probably a month ago, and he said to me personally, he's like, I don't know what you've done, but I like it.
Wow.
I could tell the difference in you. You look happy because I love what I do. I actually
Yeah.
love when my students are messaging me like, oh my God, I got the job. Oh my God, my kids are going to have Christmas this year. Thank you so much for this. Or somebody who's like, listen, I couldn't afford a class and you brought me in here for free and you taught me and you got me on the right path. Like, it just does something to me. It just
Wow.
does.
Can you put your link in the comments, Misty? She's going to put her link in the comments, guys. So if any of you are watching this and you are not in school yet, you're thinking about becoming a medical assistant, and you, or maybe you know somebody who wants to become a medical assistant, you can share this information with her. You've been listening to the interview, you heard her heart. You see her, you hear her results. She's getting people employment as soon as they finish, they're passing certification. And so, share her information. And if you're interested, definitely, reach out to her. And also your link to your resource. She has a study guide for anybody that's watching and you are about to take certification, or maybe you want to
Mhm.
schedule it. And she has a resource as well that you guys can purchase. She's going to put that in the link as well. And while she's doing that, I'm going to go up and try to see if I can answer some of these questions in the comments. If you have a quick question, guys, you can leave it down below. Also, I'm going to just put my information up here, guys. If anybody wants to support the channel, you can send a super chat or you can send a cash app. Oh, one thing too I want to mention, when you guys are buying Misty's study guide, it is helping to send one of those students that she teaches free every
Yeah.
month. It is helping to pay for that. So I just wanted to let you know that your money is going to good use
Hmm.
as well. And what made me think of that is that I was thinking about, I need to figure out I need a cause. I need a call, because I was like, I was hesitant a little at first about sharing like my cash app and stuff like that, because I've never, since I've had this YouTube channel almost 3 years, I've never shared my cash app. I've never asked for a super chat or anything. But every time I go live, people ask me, Miss K, how can I send you something or whatever? So, I'll just start putting that up there just for anybody that wants to support in that way. You don't have to, guys. I'm not asking you for anything. But for those of you who do ask, I'm just putting that there for that. But I definitely plan to find a cause to donate to as well, because I want to be able to do something for, someone like that as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of these questions I see, let me just see here. Um, oh, finding a position as a new MA. Any suggestions, Misty? Finding a position as a new MA?
Urgent care. When I tell you urgent care, it won't let me. If for some reason it won't let me put the links or anything, it says you can't put links in here.
Oh,
So
really?
that's just
In the comments?
yeah. If you go onto the school page, you can message if you message on there, it comes directly to my phone, and I
Okay.
respond to everyone. But
Okay.
urgent care is they will hire anyone literally they are always in need because they have a very high turnover. And the reason I say that is most urgent cares are, I don't want to say 12-hour shifts because that's a lie. It's from open to close, so it could be 14 hours. And not a lot of people can do those long shifts. Yeah, you're only working 3 days, but it is a very long and extended shift. So urgent care is a great place. They hire a lot of people, as well as as pediatrics. Not a lot of people want to work in pediatrics. Pediatrics is one of the places that give people the most chances because it's very difficult to staff pediatrics. Now, if you don't love kids and you know that you walk in there and you're ready to just strangle somebody's child, don't apply. Don't apply. But pediatrics is one of the places that I do know that hires a lot.
Gotcha. Thank you. And I just want to show this comment too from Tanisha. She says, "Hi, ladies. I just wanted to thank you both for the amazing work you both do with teaching and support of student workers and just putting together study time. I just thank you both." You are very welcome, Tanisha.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Yatunde says these two are amazing. Thank you, Yatunde. Um, Courtney says, "Well, I need one of her at my school. LOL, my school hasn't taught us like they should be instructed." See, this is you're unfortunately you are not alone in this.
You're not. I get it all the time. All the time. It's it's sad. And that's for any of you that are thinking, "Oh, I want to become an instructor and I want to open my own school." If you don't have love for this, don't do it. Listen,
Mm-hmm.
the money is great, but with this is a great responsibility. You literally hold somebody's career in your hand. If you are not doing things the right way and you're going to set them up on failure, they're going to walk into a facility and not know anything. And then if we are MAs, for everyone who is an MA, you know what it's like to have somebody come in and have to train someone who knows absolutely nothing. It becomes very overwhelming for the both of you. And then that's when they get discouraged and want to quit by lunch, right? Like, but I've had people walk out at lunchtime when I worked in a clinic. They went to lunch and never came back because they just weren't prepared. They were not prepared. So don't just come in saying, "Oh, okay, I want to be an instructor and I want to open my own school and I want to be able to get this amount of money and I want to do this and that." I work 24/7, you guys. Let me say that again. I work 24/7. If I'm not at the school training, I am answering phone calls. I am doing intake. I am helping students on the phone who just get scared. It's always something. So it's not like you're not working at that 9 to 5. When you leave your 9 to 5, when you leave at 5, you're off. You're never off when you're your own boss. Never.
Mm-hmm.
So I just
That
want
is
y'all to make
definitely
it work.
that is definitely something to keep in mind. Because people, when they think about starting your own business or being an entrepreneur, you see the glitz and the glamour on social media, but you don't see the behind the scenes. And I'll be honest with you guys, it's actually harder when you are on your own because you have to be disciplined. When you have a 9 to 5, you
Mhm.
clock in, you clock out. You have to keep that job. But when you are working for yourself, you have to be disciplined because you're not answering to anybody but yourself. So it's hard. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is Mia or Maya. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say I'm thinking Mia. I'm in a CCMA class. I passed my CMAA. Congratulations. Thanks to Miss
Yay.
KG Girls. Now I'm having my CCMA exam in 2 weeks, and I cannot focus while studying. Any suggestions?
Yeah.
I'm going to link my study, guys. If you want to add anything to that, I'm just going to link my study tips. But I would probably just say double down on the areas that you need to, your weak areas that because sometimes I find people, they kind of go over the same thing over and over that they already know. So just go to those weak areas. If you know you struggle with EKG or dosage calculations and you're good with terminology, put terminology on hold and focus on that the stuff you're trying to avoid, because you're probably avoiding something because
Mhm.
it's hard. But I would say double down on studying those areas, your weak areas.
Yeah, and what I tell all of my students, honestly, is to watch Miss K even in the car. Put it on the YouTube. They'll tell you all the time. And I do this on my TikTok. You've been on there. I tell everybody on TikTok.
Yeah.
Our subconscious mind, when I listen, if you're somebody who is hard, it's hard for you to focus or it's hard for you to retain information. Our subconscious mind is constantly working. That's where you need to get that information in. So if you're driving in the car, Or if you're, I'm not telling you to watch the videos while you're driving. Don't watch them. Just put it in the car, put it on CarPlay, and listen to what she's saying. Listen to it. That's what I love about the videos. And I literally sent everybody there, because everything you're doing, you could be learning. Put your AirPods in when you're cooking. You can hear what's happening that way. And subconsciously, you're going to be able to retain a lot more that way.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, Courtney. Oh, Courtney. You see Courtney's comment. Oh, I'm glad she was motivating for you, Courtney. Oh. Angela, you are too kind. She said you two are the best in medical assistant. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm not going to be able to show all of the comments, guys, but let me see if I have any. You have a time for any other questions? Misty, I don't want to keep you too long.
Go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Listen, guys, we were supposed to be on here for like 30 minutes.
Oh, don't get me start talking, guys. I like to talk and teach, so I'll be here. Look, I'll go get a glass of wine, and we'll be on here.
Okay, so you're good. Okay, I don't want to keep you too long, but listen, I think Percy, are you still watching Percy? She's coming on, I think, in a couple weeks. I think July 1st is the day she's coming. Don't worry, Percy. Hopefully, we won't go over too much overtime when I have you on. But okay, let's see. Okay, Courtney, let's go to Courtney. Courtney says I'm recovery, so I have a lot of trauma. I've had to come out and tell my professor. So they're okay. I'm so glad you were able to see yourself in this, Courtney.
You have to be honest about it. Don't try to hide it. You can't. It's like a ticking time bomb. Like you sit there trying to hold something in, and then you'll explode. And then everybody's like, "Oh, she's crazy."
That's so true. And Taja, she said, I really would not have passed my certification if it wasn't for you. So thank you, Taja. You know you are welcome, girly. And this is Coach, of course. Hey, Coach. Oh, yeah, Coach. I saw your comment down below. You said we should do a, where's Coach? I'll go back up to the other comments, guys. But he said the three of us should do a panel. That would be good, Coach. We can do that. We can do something. Coach and I've interviewed him on the channel too. It's been probably a couple years now, but he and we started together as co-instructors, and then we just got so close, and he's like my brother, and I call him my brother and my cousin, because he is just, you know how you have that cousin that you're real close to, and they're like your sister, your brother. So that's why I call him, he my cousin, but he my brother too. And he just, he brings out a side of me that I haven't had since I was a kid. I mean, like
we need that person. Everybody needs one of those.
Yes, that just brings out the kid in you. I mean, like, you have to have that person. Like, we don't have to be serious. We got to have some fun. Life is short. All right. Let's see who else is here. I would like to know how to put yourself out there with all. Oh, this is a good one. What do you have to say to that, Misty? With all the competition, how do you put yourself out there?
Be authentic. Be authentic. Listen, I'm a ghetto white girl from Baltimore City, from the project. I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm trying to hide as much of my Baltimore as I can.
No, listen, Misty, be you. I'm DC. Listen,
I get a lot of hate for it. Like, why she talk like that? Listen, I don't try to be somebody else. I know that I have the devil has my tongue. Listen, guys, I'm a Christian, but the devil owns my tongue. I have a horrible potty mouth. I cuss like crazy. Even during my classes, I don't change who I am, and my students absolutely love it because they find me relatable. Make sure if you become relatable, you will have so much success. So much success. I've had so many students come to me literally from other people's training that they already paid thousands of dollars for. Like, I couldn't even understand her, or she just put on a YouTube video. That's what's happening. That's another thing that's happening. They just put on a YouTube video and sit in the back and tell the students to watch it. And I be authentic, be you.
And I 100% agree with that. And the people that are for you will come. And that is the thing. When you are yourself, and I think about like my channel, right? There may be some people that watch my channel that's like, she talks too much. And I got that. I've had people come in and say, you talk too much. Can you just get to the point? Those people that feel like I talk too much, which I do, I will admit, I'm not for them. And that's okay. They need somebody that's just probably going to just not say anything. And that's okay. Just know who's for you is going to be for you. And people that's for you won't be for me. There's going to be some people out there, Dominique, for you that you can reach that I will never be able to reach. And I can talk until I'm green in the face, and I'll never be able to reach them the way you can reach them. Right. And so just know that who and what's for you is for you.
Yep, I said that in the very beginning. I'm not for everybody, and everybody's not for me, and you got to stand on that.
And that is perfectly okay.
And don't get offended by it. Don't just. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna just speak to this for a moment. I know this is similar to the question we got earlier about finding a job. This is one of the things that I'm going to tell you guys. If anybody is watching this, and I've made videos about this on my channel before. So when you are, so I should say you finished school, maybe you did externship, maybe you didn't have an externship. If you had an externship and they weren't hiring, you're applying for jobs, you can't find anything. This is the thing. And this is not just toward you, Azias. I don't want you, or Asia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this is just in general. If you have not gone out daily to multiple private offices with copies of your resume, I'm trying to word this because I don't want to.
You ain't doing enough. I'm sorry. Yeah, you got to go put in the street work. You got to literally do.
You have to put in the work. You have to listen. There were times where I was in between a job. I was in between jobs, looking for a job. It was raining, guys. I was out there in the rain, going from office to office. All you need to do, find some private offices in your area. Do some research online. Find some private offices in your area. Okay. Print out multiple copies of your resume and just go, hey, are you guys hiring? If they say no, okay, keep it moving. If they say yes, and is it okay if I leave my resume with you? Is the hiring manager there? You have to do the footwork, guys. Once you do that and nothing happens, then we can talk. But and again, this is not for you, Asia. Let me remove your comment over here because I don't want you to think I'm getting on you. I'm not getting on you, but this is just in general because I personally had conversations with people who have come to me about this, and I've told them to do this, and they don't do it. And then they come back and say, I haven't found anything. I need you to understand that sometimes finding a job can be a full-time job. You got to put in the work. Okay. We know there's Indeed. We know there's, staffing agencies and things like that. But then some of us, we have to just get out there. And I'm telling you, it works. So many people have commented here and said that they've done it. It worked. My students do it. Trust me, it works. It's worked for me. It works. You got to get out there.
Let me piggyback on that for a second. Every single state, every single city has a health department of health. They always have job fairs. They have massive job fairs. They usually do them if it's not on a monthly basis, it's on a quarterly basis. So at 4 times a year. They will have all of the hospitals in the area, the clinics in the area. They'll have their HR department and have hiring people in there to hire on the spot. So you got to go and add those organizations to your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever, because they put these flyers up all the time. Hey, we have a hiring fair. We have a health fair. We have a job fair. We have a job fair. Don't be too good to go down to the job fair with your resumes. Doing Indeed, doing LinkedIn and all of them that's not a job search. I'm sorry. I just, me personally, if for somebody who really, 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 really needs a job, I'm walking over there. I'm calling the office. I'm asking to speak to the hiring manager. I want to speak to the nurse manager on duty. I want to talk to the doctor. I need to eat. Somebody's going to hire me. And you do get out what you put into it. Go to the health department. But though I'm telling you, they have massive, massive resources. Massive.
Yes, I second that. All right. This person says medications are hard for me to pronounce. Google is your best friend. Just type in the medication and pronunciation, and then it'll pronounce it for you.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. That's up,
Yeah. What advice would you give if you took the online program but need the hands-on training?
Did your program not offer any hands-on training? Because some of these online programs offer like Stepful. I know that they partner with other facilities or all other training places to try to see if you can, like, they contacted me to have their students come to me to get the hands-on portion of it. I don't really partner with other organizations because I don't know what they learn when they would.
Yeah.
Right. you can, that most of those places will help you if you tell them, listen, I need hands-on training. Now, if they say in the contract immediately, we don't offer any hands-on, I wouldn't sign up.
Yeah, and I agree. If you for those of you that's not in school yet, and I'll address you in a moment, Dominique, because I know it seems like you already took the program. But if you're not in school yet and you're looking at an online program and they don't offer any hands-on, I second that. Don't join it. But Dominique, in your case, and people who have already taken a program and you didn't get any hands-on training, and they don't have anything available to you, the thing I suggest is similar to what I said about going to the private offices. Same thing, go around to some private offices and see if they will allow you to either do some externship hours with them, or prime example, let me actually highlight one of my friends here that's here. This is one of my sister friends, Tashika. She took medical assistant years ago, and she hadn't worked as a medical assistant. She worked as a CNA, but she didn't work as a medical assistant for a long time. She called around to some offices and found someone who was willing to give her the hands-on training. Okay. And in her case, she had training years ago. She just hadn't done it in a while. But in your case, you would just present it. I was this, excellent in school. I was a 4.0 student. I was a 3.5 student or whatever. I'm very teachable. Would you be willing to allow me to, work here, get a few hours, and, or, just, and then you can present it that you're helping them and they're helping you. They're getting some free help for a couple hours a day, and then you're also getting your hours. So, you may want to do that, Dominique, go around to those offices.
You can also contact those training centers like what I have. I have people who do contact me saying that I went here and there. I got all the book stuff. I just don't have any hands-on practice. And a lot of them, I mean, they'll still charge you, but it's not going to be a crazy fee because they're not doing the bulk of it. They'll bring
Yeah.
you in hands-on.
Yeah. Quick guide for ICD-10 codes. I know you're not going to answer this because I know you already mentioned you don't like those codes. So there's a couple channels on here. So the good thing about us medical assistants, we don't go to we don't go into very much detail when it comes to ICD-10 codes. I would just say just make sure you know what the modifiers are. Modifiers, they make the ICD-10 codes more specific. Just make sure you know how to go and find the ICD-10 code. You're going to go to volume 2 first, and you're going to search by the symptom, not the body part. So let's just say you're looking for chest pain. You're not going to go search for chest. You're going to go search for pain. Once you find pain, then those modifiers, you'll see chest pain. And then it may even get more specific, chest pain with exertion and things like that. And so that's the biggest thing with the codes. Just make sure you know what they are. Know that they can be anywhere from 4 to 7 characters. Now, it used to be 3 to 7, 4 to 7 characters now. And then, know what modifiers are. Other than that, and again, knowing how to go look for the codes. But other than that, there is some code, and I'll see if I can. I'll send you one, Sashika, because I know there's one that I follow here. I just can't think of the name of it. Yeah, so she said private doctors. Yep, that's exactly what she did. And so that's why, and I talk about you all the time, Sheik, because people they ask about getting this hands-on training, and I always use her as an example and let them know, like, listen, my friend, she went around and she was able to find something that was willing to find an office that was willing to, train her again, so they're out there. Yep. That's okay. She said she at work. That's okay. I don't want you to get in trouble. That's okay. I'm glad you're listening.
Can I just I just want to make sure for any of you before, I don't want to forget to say this to you. And I said this in the Facebook group. If you're considering going to a training center, like what I have, I don't like to use the term school because I don't feel like it's school. I do job training. I do medical assistant job training. So when you are going out here and you're looking for a medical assistant training center or a program that's going to train you, those of us who are fast track training, which is literally anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks, make sure before you sign up or before you give them your money, what type of certifications you are able to get with that source, with that class. Because I am telling you now, I have so many students, and it breaks my heart that they go and they pay other people for classes and they find out that the certification that they are going to get at the end of that class, or the exam that they're going to take, most of them never even take the exam. The instructors just give them a certification and say they passed something. When you got to ask questions. You got to ask, what type of certification is it? You need to contact the facilities in your area to find out what type of certifications they accept. Is it AAMA? Is it AMT? Is it NCCT? Is it NHA? There are so many of them that are out here doing the NPCE thing. And this is no disrespect to American Allied Health or NPCE, but there's very few and far between facilities that accept these certifications. And it is what it is. You got to ask questions. I have so many students that have to come back and pay to take training with me after they've done paid someone else. And you don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? Like, you're sitting there like, I wish, and all they ever say is, I didn't know what questions to ask.
Yes.
I didn't know there was a difference. It said a national certification. So when someone goes out here and markets their certifications as a national certification, sometimes it could be only one facility in the entire state, and it's usually a private practice that accepts that certification, and they automatically consider it a national certification. And that is not the case. Hospitals, bigger clinics, federally qualified health centers, they are going to be a little more stricter when it comes to certification. So please ask that question before sending your money to anyone. And that's one of the biggest things I can give you from this whole entire live. I want you to know, everybody will take your money. They will take your money gladly, especially if you don't know what to ask them. And they're going to like, well, look, I have people working here and here and here, and they got jobs with it. They got jobs, but that facility still doesn't recognize that certification.
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned that. That is so good. That is so key. I'm going to on the screen, I'm going to put the name of your program again. And then any final thoughts or anything? Was that your final thought, or anything else you want to leave with us? First of all, I just want to tell you, thank you, Misty, for coming on. We got to do this again. We're going to do something with Coach as well. We're going to do a panel. We can do a panel type style. Yeah. And then we definitely got to do this again. And then something else I was going to say, I can't. I'll share that at the end. But yeah, anything you want to add? And then also, I need to get your TikTok on here too. For those of you that's on TikTok,
you can do it.
Okay, what's your TikTok?
Here,
you know what? No, go ahead and speak. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up TikTok now and write.
You can do anything you put your mind to. A lot of people are afraid to take their certification exam. This is one of the biggest things I probably see on the page. Some people act like this exam is like you're about to go in to take an exam to be an anesthesiologist. It's not that bad. It really is not that bad. If you fail the first time, or even the second time taking your exam, you need to go to the part of the exam that gives you a breakdown of where you scored the least, where you were struggling the most, and take something away from that. You know, now I scored really, really high in this area. I need to study more on this, so that when you go back to study, you need to really focus on what caused you to fail that exam the most. And this is for every single one of them. This is AAMA, this is MA, HNA, this is NCCT. This is every single governing body, certification body. You also have to stop overstudying. Some people tend to not understand that if you are literally engulfing every moment of your day into studying, you're going to clog your brain. You're going to actually cause all of that information to start jumping around in there, and it's going to just literally bang against each other, and it's going to just get discombobulated in your head. You have to take a break from studying. You have to still have a life and then go back to it. You can do it. I swear you can do it. If I can do it with all of my issues, guys, I have so many issues. I'm so messed up. But let me tell you, I don't let it hold me back for nothing. I am not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I was. That's all.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen to that. I'm with you on that. And listen, guys, I put Misty's TikTok on the screen as well. You guys got the name of her program, so you can connect with her if any of you are interested in joining her program. And also, if you know somebody, like I said, you may want to share that with them as well. And then you have something, you have an online program coming up soon, right?
Yes, we're
Yeah.
gonna
So
have.
yeah, so definitely connect with her, guys. Follow her so you can be updated on that. And it's one last question here, Misty. I don't know if you want to answer this one. Do you think MAs are being underpaid?
Oh, of course I do. Of course, listen. You have to know how to negotiate. I'm sorry, you got it. Also falls on the MAs as well. I'm gonna tell you, as somebody who is not only who was the MA, but I'm an employer as well, and I understand the lowballing, because if I can save some money, I'm going to save some money, and that's their mindset. But we are highly underpaid. I wish that we had a union, and I think that at some point in time, it will eventually happen. It may not be during my lifetime, but it will definitely happen eventually. We deserve a union. We deserve better pay. And even more than pay, we deserve more respect than what a lot of us get.
Mm.
I did that quote, just the MA, which, I've had that comment made by a nurse one time when somebody said, oh, the nurse over there, and she was like, oh no, she's just an MA.
And speaking of that, what you just said, the union thing, Misty, I'll talk to you offline, but this is something my sister and I was literally just talking about. She's an MA as well, and she's actually the reason why I became an MA, because I was watching her. But we were actually talking about this and kind of talking about how I may be looking into something like that,
Yeah.
because you know it's needed. It's needed. We do deserve more. We do. Now, I don't want to discourage anybody from becoming a medical assistant. Like Missy said, you want to negotiate, and you also want to stock your credentials. You know what I mean? Just become as marketable as you can. And then also think about the area that you're in. I'll talk to somebody, she's in a very rural area, nothing there, and she's not making anything, and so that's another thing to consider as well. But I don't want to discourage anybody, but you can make some good money, because even my sister, I'm trying to get her on the channel. I wanted her to come on here and talk about it, but she's in a private office and she makes really good money. So it's about finding those offices too, because they're out there paying pretty good, like more than some nurses out here. So
And
yeah.
if you are a medical assistant, I know we keep trying to get off, but I'm gonna tell you, if you're an MA,
Right.
and you got some experience, listen to me. I'm just listen. One thing I do with everybody is I encourage entrepreneurship. All my students will tell you I have taught every single one of them how to start their own business. Every single one of them.
Yes.
If you have a couple of years, and I would say 3 to 5 years minimum, 3 years experience in different areas, different offices, different specialties, you really need to start going out there and trying to become a trainer in the facilities. You get to travel to different facilities. My base rate is $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bare minimum, and that's only if it's 4 people. If we're doing 5 or more people, my price is up. Just let
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's a little bit of pay transparency on that.
Yeah.
And they don't even blink an eye. Let me say that again. Them doctors that wanted to pay me $15 an hour, they didn't even blink an eye when I told them it's $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm. And
So
I'm
you got to know your worth.
And I'm glad you shared that. You shared that in your group, and I think you did mention it when we talked on the phone that time. It's something I definitely want to look into, especially now my daughter, she's going to college.
Mm-hmm.
In the fall. Well, actually next month, she's going away next month. And now that she will be going, I have some time. I can try, so I'm actually going to look into that very thing, going around to, some companies and doing training. So I got to get with you offline about that too.
It's
Yeah.
very but this is, if you're the person that gets mad whenever they send you somebody to train, it's not for you. Because
Right.
you get mad when they said, oh, we got 2 new people, and you're like, oh my God, do I gotta train them? This isn't for you. You gotta
Right.
actually enjoy the teaching aspect of it.
Right. All right, guys. So we're gonna we've been saying we want to end this for about 30 minutes now. It's 30 people on here, 30 people stuck with us. Like, you guys are awesome.
I'm gonna need y'all to log off before I log off, because that's like
I know that's what's keeping us on here, because y'all still on here. So listen, guys,
hang up. The 1, 2, 3, you hang up.
Right. Guys, join my email list, guys, because again, my Facebook for some reason has been suspended for no reason, literally. Join my email list. The link is below. I'm going to comment it again so you can just, I know it's probably hard to type out. So just click on it, guys. Join my email list. Oh, I forgot to mention my necklaces. Make sure you guys on my website, I have these customizable stethoscope necklaces, guys. You can check those out on my site. Let me see. I think I have the link here.
That is so cute.
Let me post that. But you can type your name in the note section of the website, and you can get your name on it. It's a great gift. My friend Tashika, she's on here watching. She has one. They come in gold and silver. And so I'll put that there in the links as well. You guys can check that out. Anything else we missing? Your study guide, we mentioned that. Thank you, Charlene. I think that's it, guys. Oh, I want to tell you guys. So Sunday evening, set your timer. Sunday evening, I'm going to have another young lady on here. She is called the MA Mentor. So make sure you guys set your reminders for this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to have the MA Mentor in there. She's in my medical assistant group. She's giving all kinds of advice on, passing certification and, getting employment. So those of you on here that's asking about getting jobs, she's very good with that. So I'm going to have her on here Sunday evening at 7 p.m. So make sure you guys come back and join us. And I promise we won't go over an hour. We're going to be about 30 minutes.
I send all my students to her for their resumes. I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, perfect. Yes. Perfect. Yeah. Oh, Tashika says she has it on now. All right, guys. I'm trying to think. I feel like I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Let me look at my notes.
Any last questions before we get off? Does somebody have like a dire question?
Right. Any other questions? Misty, she's staying on here for you guys. Anybody have a dire question you need answered right now? You better get her while you can. Better get her while you can. Is it Mia? She said, when will you be doing another CCMA video? So I don't know yet, Mia, only because it takes so long to create the slides, and I am working on a Misty, I told you I've been working on this study guide for the longest. I have been every day I have been just focusing on that because it's a lot, because I'm doing videos and everything with it. It's like a course, but it's condensed. And so it's just for people who already went to school. It's not a program. So it's not going to be a substitute for school. It's just going to be for people like, I get a lot of people who've been out of school for a long time and they're trying to take the test. So I've been focusing on that, Mia. That's why I haven't been able to do it. But hopefully soon. I want to be done this study, hopefully by the end of the month. And so hopefully soon. But I am having a group study session on Saturday morning. Saturday morning. If anybody wants to join, you can go to bookwithmissk.com. bookwithmissk.com. I'm putting that there. If anybody wants to join that, you can do that. It's going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, Eastern Standard Time. And it's 2 hours. 2 hours. And so I just put the link there, Mia, so you can check that out, bookwithmissk.com, and just choose the virtual group session.
Yeah. I get this thing a lot with people with the study guides and things like that. The study guides that we create, it's not specifically for one organization. You got to understand all of these credentialing bodies, they ask pretty much the same questions. They just word them very differently. So it's all the same. It's all within the scope of what it is that we can do. So if you get one good study guide, it works for AAMA, NHA, NCCT, AMT, like all of them.
I think I answered that probably almost every day, if this will work, because this is the thing, guys. So think about this, right? Terminology is terminology. It's not going to change from test to test, right? So terminology is the same. Dosage calculations is the same, okay? EKG placements is not the same. That foundational information is not, it's the same information, guys. Now, they may have a little, here and there, they may be a question, but not really. The administration, ICD-10 codes and modifiers, they're the same thing. Everything is the same. And the same definition that a AOB is on a CCMA is the same definition on the CMA AAMA.
Yep.
Okay, so yes, it does help with all of the certifications.
Oh, Courtney. I'm gonna start traveling.
Oh, she said I need a Misty.
I'm gonna start traveling. I just don't like planes. If I could get places without flying.
Oh yeah, Ohio. Oh, so that's, you know what, you can drive to Ohio. That's actually where I'm taking my daughter next month. She's gonna be in Ohio. What part of Ohio are you in, Courtney? Yes. There's 18 videos in the playlist. I didn't realize it was that much.
Yeah, it is. All my students come to me. They was like, you know how many videos you told me to watch? I'm like, yeah, I did. And I got two of them going to college. I got one of my daughters is in medical school.
Okay.
I got 6 girls and 2 boys. So I got 2 of my older one. My oldest is going to be a doctor. I got my third one.
Wow.
My third one is going to Penn State for she wants to be a psychiatrist.
Wow.
And then the other, she wants to go for FBI. She's a medical assistant. She trains with me all the time. So
wow, that's amazing. One thing too, I want to mention on here while we're talking about the amount of videos, people always ask, do the old videos still apply? Yes, because just like I just mentioned, the information is still the same. The only thing that changed was that they added some content to the newer version, but all of that stuff that was already on it is still there. So yes, all of the videos are still applicable.
Yep.
You're welcome, Sheik. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you got on here. Latoya, are you still watching? My friend Latoya was watching too. I'm sorry I missed you, Toya. One of my let me see. One of my friends, few of my friends actually came on here tonight. Thank you, France, Toya, Coach. All right, guys, we're going to get ready to end this for real. We got to get ready to get off here. I got to eat something.
I know. Me too.
Oh, wait a minute. Interview tip. See, y'all keep asking something every time we get ready to go. Go ahead, Misty.
Interview tip. First, don't wear your scrubs to your interview. Dress professionally. No nails. Please, no fake nails. And listen. I don't know if it's a Baltimore thing. It might. The lashes where we can't see your eyeballs and it looks like they're closed up. Please get rid of them. I don't know what they're called, volume lashes or something like that. Get rid of them, please. In there, you need to negotiate your pay. Listen to what I'm going to say. They can give you a job. You need to know how much you're going to make when you walk out of there, and you need to know if it's something you can afford to do. They will start you out very, very low. You have to negotiate for yourself.
She said,
okay. I don't care if it's Zoom or not. You better put on a nice top.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning it. I did a video on this, guys, because I get that question a lot in my Facebook group, and I see a lot of people, they always respond, I got an interview with no problem in my scrubs, but those are exceptions, guys. Anytime you go on an interview, even if you have to wear a uniform for that job, if you working at McDonald's and you go for an interview, you don't have the uniform yet. How are you going to go to an interview? You're going to be dressed professionally. Even people who wear, what's that, construction or whatever, any type of interview job, guys, just because you work, because people always say, well, I work in scrubs, why wouldn't I go to the interview in scrubs? You don't go to the interview in what you wear for the position. You have to dress professionally, because guess what? I had a few people in the group who shared their personal stories of wearing scrubs to the interview, and it didn't work out well. One person said the manager came out and asked her, why did you think this was okay? Yeah, it's not. So although some people, they have been able to get jobs, again, those are exceptions. The rule when it comes to interviews has always been what? Blazer, a suit, right? Professional attire. And I don't care what you wear on the bottom, Andrina, if it's Zoom, but make sure that top, make sure you are, you have on a blazer. If you don't have a blazer, at least a nice button up.
If it's an externship or an apprenticeship where you're not being paid, then you obviously can't negotiate the pay. What I want you to do also understand is you need to ask questions like, what does my job entail? What are you responsible for doing? Are you working the front and the back? Are you just working the back? Are you just triaging, doing your vaccines, doing the clinical portion, or are you doing the administrative plus the clinical portion? Make sure you know what it is that you're walking into before you agree to do anything.
I agree. And Charlene says she has a dermatology Has an interview for them. Same thing. Same applies.
My daughter started in June or July at Hopkins in dermatology. She started at $24 an hour. Within a month, she was making $35 an hour at Hopkins in dermatology.
Oh.
Because in dermatology, you'll have to start performing some sort of procedures. You're going to assist with biopsies. You're going to do lidocaine and things like that. When you start assisting with the procedures more on that level, they will pay you more. They will also have to do a certain training. It's kind of like a surge tech, but it's a derm surge tech. So make sure you know that.
Misty been dropping some gems tonight, guys. I hope y'all was taking notes. I should have told you guys in the beginning to make sure you have a pen and paper. Okay, guys, we're going to get right in this. Don't forget Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Okay. Oh, 3 years experience still apply. She said they asking for 3 years. You still apply. Even though they say 3 years, still apply. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and end this. You guys have a good evening. And don't forget, make sure you guys follow Misty. I'm going to put her information up on the screen one more time. You still here too, Chic? I'm going to put her information up on the screen one more time so you guys have it. I can't believe it. Oh, yeah, it's going to stay posted. I think once we end it, I think it takes a few minutes to like process. But and then
I don't know anything about YouTube. I don't know anything about YouTube at all.
I need to start going live on TikTok. I know you told me I need to do that. I need to get more.
I just prefer, because again, I'm bipolar and I've had ADHD, so I can do short videos. But anything that takes a really long time and I got to sit and edit it.
Yeah, and see, I need to be able to post to multiple networks. See, normally if my Facebook page wasn't deactivated, I would have been streaming there too. And now you can also stream to Instagram too now from here. So if I could stream to TikTok, do everything at one time, that would be perfect. If they do that, then I can definitely do it. Okay. But let me let you go. My daughter, she's been walking back and forth here several times now. Let me go ahead and go. You guys have a good night. And Misty, thank you so much. We're going to do this again.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye, everyone.
Good night.